Hi everyone, welcome to today's installment of the Google Partners Elevenses series. My name is Andrea and I work on our UK agency team.
And my name's Rebecca and I also work in the UK agency team.
Okay, our format today is going to be slightly different. So normally we go quite in-depth into one of our main product areas, but today we have quite a few product updates that have come off the back of AdWeek that we're going to go through, and we also have a product spotlight on our Brand Uplift Survey, which is our brand measurement solution with Google and YouTube. So Bex, you'd like to get us kicked off?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Andrea. So like I said, to start with, we're going to go through some of the product updates that we have. As you can see from the agenda here, we have a whole range of ones coming up. So we'll go through each one in turn and just explain a little bit behind what the intention for these are. So first up, we have our click to message. So as is probably apparent from the screenshots there, what this is basically it's a new ad extension where you can run the option for people to do a click to message versus like a traditional kind of click to call ad. So this is something that we were kind of looking at. We did some kind of consumer surveys on it and found that actually around 65% of consumers would like the option to be able to do this instead of calling. And obviously that's because not everyone is in a situation where they would want to call the business directly. They may want to just engage in messaging. So it's fantastic that we've got this. It's obviously only for mobile, given it's a messaging service. And the requirements would be that you have the software ability to be able to receive SMS from consumers. So long as you have those requirements, and like I say, it's both iOS and Android, as you can see. It's a cool new extension that you can run, and as you can see from the date, they only launched a couple of days ago, so pretty hot off the press there for the click to message. Fantastic. Next up, we have an update to RLSA. So this is pretty exciting. I know it's something that people have been looking for a long time, is the extension of the window for RLSA lists. So we've now expanded it to 540 days. Which by my calculations is just under a year and a half, which is great, especially for when you're trying to capture those seasonal audiences. So for example, Valentine's Day next year, you may want to have a list of users that were interested in your products last year, and to be able to actually then preemptively, bid on RLSA differently to those audiences in the lead up to the seasonal event. It's going to help you identify that ideal target market. It's also great to make sure these lists are being built as we approach the seasonal period up to Christmas this year, so that actually you can help yourself for Christmas 2017, which is a long way away for us now, but never too early to start planning for Christmas and years to come. So pretty exciting one there, and hopefully that will be used to great effect. Next up, we have cross-device remarketing. So this is part of a lot of the things we've been looking at in terms of helping engage users across multi-devices, to make sure that we are able to effectively reach your audience regardless of what they're doing. So we did some studies and found that actually around 90% of consumers switch between devices during the day. So this is probably no surprise to most people. We know this to be the case. But for us, we wanted to come up with a really effective solution to be able to actually remarket to those audiences regardless of what device they're on. So actually the kind of technology side of it is that we're kind of mapping out, as you can see in the little kind of grid there in the image, it's basically just kind of linking a user's devices, so that then if I was on my way to work in the morning, commuting on the train, and I did a search on my phone for flowers, maybe I might need a reminder at lunchtime when I'm on my desktop to go and actually kind of, complete the purchase for those flowers later on. And now we can do that with the cross-device remarketing. So pretty fantastic development there for us. Next up, we have ad customizers. So many of you may be familiar with these from the countdown ads that we run, and especially in the lead up to Black Friday. These are a handy tool to let people know that you're running a Black Friday sale, but equally when you're running sales across all seasons, when that is and what the kind of deadline, I guess, to kind of get their sales in before they miss the end of the sale. And we're just expanding that really to making it much more customizable in terms of the different parameters you can put in. So as you can see from the examples there, you can kind of change the percentages and the days and the prices and stuff quite dynamically, so that actually you're more effectively able to present the different types of seasonal sales or promotions that you have, regardless of how they fit. So pretty handy one there, just to make sure that you are presenting the right deals for the time of the season. Fantastic. And so next up, price extensions. So this once again is another mobile first extension that we're looking to launch. So as you can see from the image there, you'll basically be able to add extensions for different kind of prices for key kind of products or offers that you have. So the example we have here is for hairdressers. They've put in their kind of top 3 main categories of haircut, and so you can see quite easily in the search ad there. So this is pretty handy because I guess it kind of takes some of the great capabilities that we see in shopping, for example, and moving them into a text ad where we can more easily see the price comparison there. For now, it is obviously only on mobile, but it is also only for the top position. So it is literally a perk of having that top slot on mobile, is being able to run these price extensions here. And then obviously finally only in English at this point in the early stages of launch. So these are actually in the account right now. So you can go and get these set up as soon as you're finished watching us. And then finally for me is on shopping feed updates. So there's been a couple of changes to the shopping feed. So this, I guess, just comes from us trying to make the platform and just the way that we manage shopping in its entirety is being a bit more useful and in line with the way that different types of advertisers want to manage the back end of their feed. So I'll start with the second point to start with. So just on the new partnership, so it's kind of reducing the amount of kind of admin and work that needed to be done in terms of editing feeds, especially when you're running the back end of your site through a third-party e-commerce platform. So the idea is that actually it kind of cuts out the middleman a bit in terms of we should be able to just kind of upload the feed and in one click have it up in kind of Google Shopping, as opposed to having to do that kind of lengthy task of editing everything to suit the Merchant Center feed. So pretty exciting. Now there's a few other developments to have a look into there as well in terms of the shopping feed. The other exciting update for shopping is that it is very nearly launched in Ireland. So this is a big thing for the Irish market. Like, I'm sure that any Irish advertisers out there have been well awaiting this one. But it's an interesting one to talk about in terms of the UK market as well. So there's a pretty big market in Ireland that's been untapped for a long while in terms of it's not had shopping in itself. But if you have a client that is able to ship to Ireland, it's well worth getting them set up on shopping in Ireland, just because, as we've seen with the recent fluctuations in the value of sterling, there is a much greater demand for UK products abroad, and Ireland is no exception. So a pretty exciting opportunity for that as well. Fantastic. So that is the main updates for myself. I'm going to hand over to Andrea to talk us through some stuff on Brand Lift.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a million, Bex. Okay, so working on the YouTube side of things, a question that's come up time after time is how we measure the effectiveness of our brand campaigns on YouTube. So that's not a question that's unique to YouTube and our platforms. It's a question that comes up across the board, but it is a solution that we believe that we've addressed with our new Brand Lift study. So I'm going to go through that in a bit more detail today. First of all, what is Brand Lift? What is the platform? How do we measure it? What does it look like? So Google's Brand Lift study measures the effectiveness of your brand campaigns on metrics much closer to your marketing goals. So things outside of traditional clicks, impressions, views, we go quite a bit deeper on this platform. So depending on the metric measured, the Brand Lift will either survey your client's audience or analyze their organic search results. That's on google.com and YouTube as well. And will then isolate the direct impact of the campaign and the shift in the behavior of that campaign. So Brand Lift is a Google-built solution. It's free, it's easy to set up, it doesn't take long to implement, and it gives you results in a matter of days. It allows you then to use those results to tailor the campaign, to make optimizations, to make recommendations back to your client, or most importantly, to use those learnings for future campaigns and help shape creative strategies outside of just your YouTube and advertising campaigns with us. So the metrics include brand awareness, ad recall, brand interest, consideration, favorability, and purchase intent. So how does the brand lift actually work? That's a question that comes up quite often as well. First of all, for the setup phase, that's something that needs to be done through your Google Rep. So you can make people like myself and Bex feel super useful by reaching out to us. And basically, advertisers will be able to set this up from within the AdWords interface with the help of their Google Rep. It only takes a couple of minutes. It's quite easy for us to implement. We just need to understand what metrics you want to measure. So what actually happens magically in the background that makes this work? As the campaigns start running, our system will isolate two groups of users. So the first will be the group that saw the ad, and the second will be the group that didn't see the ad. They're the control group. So then, depending on the metrics, it's broken up into two different metrics, the survey-based metrics. So that will be the ad recall, the brand awareness, consideration, the favorability, and the purchase intent. We serve one question survey to both groups, the control group and the exposed group. And then there is also the search-based metric. So that would be brand interest, where we analyze their follow-up on search activity on not just YouTube, but google.com as well. So the system will basically compute the results of the studies by comparing the exposed group with the control group, and then calculate the lift based on the brand campaign. From the reporting side of things, the results can be published in a detailed report, which again, you will get from your Google Rep, and that will come as early as 7 days into the campaign. You can then use those results for optimizations or upsells with your client. So what actually makes this solution technique? There's some key points that make Brand Lift unique and, in our opinion, unparalleled. So we have results you can trust because we have a pure control group enabled by server layer integration. Our data is reliable with survey response rates 200 times greater than the competition. It's fast and actionable, so no more waiting for pixel-based feedback, and it's easy to implement. So there's no tagging with this solution. There's detailed cuts that allow you to do really actionable results. So examples of some of the cuts you could do would include age and gender. So my campaign drove the highest lift between 18 to 25, for example. That might be very interesting information for you to know. You could look at frequency across the campaign. So what was the difference in someone that saw the ad once versus someone that saw the ad 3 times, for example? We could look at geo-based experiments. So if we run a campaign purely in the north within the UK, did we see a percentage uplift in sales in that region of the country versus a region where we didn't run a campaign? So what's the next steps to actually get something like this up and running? First of all, you want to pick your initiative and plan your campaign. So you want to be super clear on the metrics that are most important to you and the metrics that you want to measure. And then you want to define those measurement goals up front. So examples of the type of questions that you might want to ask is, what is the optimal reach and frequency to maximize the ad recall lift? Can I improve my creative approach for my next campaign? These are outputs of the data that you're going to receive from the Brand Lift survey. We'll measure each campaign flight so that we can apply the learnings along the way. So we'll use that data within the account, and you can also use that data with ad hoc conversations on your clients as well. And then we'll share our Brand Lift report within the first 7 days. So again, you get your feedback very, very quickly when it comes to this measurement tool. So that's all I have for you today on Brand Lift. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you found the information useful. We'll have another installment of the Elevenses series coming up in the next 2 weeks. And again, just want to say a big thanks for tuning in for myself and Bex.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
see you guys. Bye-bye.